humanist beyond as a singer?
I think he was a humanist to the core because he used to, we all know just many stories about how he used to help people. People totally unknown to him, he would spend lakhs on their treatment, on education. He had sponsored a few orphan children in the orphanages. And those, I personally was witness to one such incident when there was a restaurant near Vivanta Hotel in Khanapara. So I had gone with a few friends there, and that place used to be frequented by Zubeen. So the owner was a common friend, so we would go there once in a while. So one day I was there. We saw his car. His car is everybody recognized, right? Garg is written, and there were two bicycles. So wheel frames there. This thing that Isuzu car. I think Isuzu. So his car was there, so we know he was there. So we went up, and he was having some meeting with some lady who had come from outside, discussing some project with him. So we sat separately, and then after the lady went, he came and joined us, and we had maybe about half an hour. We just had a small chit chat and all that, and we went down. So when we came out of the restaurant on the footpath, there was a guy who was there already. He looked like a drug addict or something, like totally disheveled and long hair and all that. So he suddenly came and caught Zubeen's legs. Said, and Zubeen said, you have taken drugs. He said, no. He said, you swear on your mother that you won't swear. So Zubeen said, you can drink, because he used to drink. You can drink, but never smoke or take drugs. It's very bad. So he said, no. So you say, promise on your mother and swear on your mother. He said, yes. So he said, no, I want some help. What help? He said, I want some money to eat or anything. So Zubeen actually put his hand into the whatever tracksuit kind of thing. He took out a bundle of notes. He didn't even see how much was there. He just gave it to him. He said, he said, no, you have taken an oath on the name of your mother that you won't do drugs again. Take this money and be well. Once he had come out of a hospital, somebody from his group had told me. So that Miri-JNUite hospital. So somebody was waiting near his car. Again, everybody knows his car. He said, no, my wife is undergoing treatment. I need so much. There is a surgery, but I don't have money and all that. So Zubeen didn't even ask whether it's a genuine case or not. He said he called one of his guys. I don't know. Whoever it was, said that you come tomorrow time on my studio. This guy, talk with this guy, bring all your papers, and whatever money you get, you will get. Later on, I heard that he was given 3 lakh rupees. So he was like that. So that humanist in him was like always there, and he didn't care about money. All these money issues which are happening now, post his death, these are because he didn't care about money, right? Because and that was taken advantage of by a lot of people around him. So all these police constables who are in jail because they had so much money in their accounts, that was actually routing some money to them to give to people. But because like if you go through it, it's not a legal way of routing money, right? So that's why legally there are all that. From a humanist point of view, we are testing that because he would usually not keep much money with him. So to them he would give. So but he was like that. He would help a lot of people. That's why this Garg, he gave his surname to this guy. Who's like his own brother, stays at home. So there's so many people who were benefited from his large activities. So I think he was a great humanist. Songs like Jantro, or Amhar song, these show his concern for the society as a humanitarian.
Yeah, sure. He has done a lot and always allowed So do you think the stardom phenomenon has accelerated the dilution of because in the podcast with Rita Chaudhary, he said that the people has something in that type of thing.
See, when you are
Yeah.
such hugely popular person in a state, obviously you will have a lot of expectations from people on how, what you do, so you are already under pressure. So you become a kind of restricting was, we got restricted by that thing too much, because you were still, like I said, no, you still, sit in the roadside tea stall and talk to people. And so he did never behaved as a star. But of course that pressure must be on him, like any other star, because he has to fulfill so many people's aspirations through him. People will see, get inspired from him. So he had to, I think, also do a lot of acting in his real life to show stuff. But yeah, one cannot say for sure, but it must have affected somewhere. Like all stars get affected by the public adulation and craze about him. Sometimes you become a helpless prisoner of such things. So it's not in your control.
And generally, I think, and Zubeen suffered from there as well. I think that's a good question. Generally, this is what I have thought, particularly after his death and during when he was alive as well. Which is, I think we as a society, and I also put down my test. For those of you who don't know, Kolda has been a stellar journalist much of his life. The journalism in the state, for example, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that when you ask that does the stardom effect as well, I think we as a society and we as a people and people who talk to him, so one, his friend circle, his well-wishers, people who have access to him, and so friends and family who have access, one, and the other kind of people who usually have access to such people is the media, right? So we also didn't engage with, to sort of borrow what you said, like the actual Zubeen Garg or proper Zubeen Garg on a lot of occasions. So for example, I'm thinking about generally how interviews would happen, right? Zubeen had so much to say as we got to know in the interview that you were talking about. And in some of those very few good interviews, Zubeen had so much to say. But the point is also how much did people try to bring out of him, right? Try to understand him, try to understand himself. And here I'm not talking about praising, like really sitting down with Zubeen and giving feedback, for example. How much, I doubt how much proper feedback he got about his work. And this I mean about all kinds of work. I'm not saying about his, he needed feedback because some work was below par or something, I'm not saying that. But generally, how much of the feedback mechanism actually worked for Zubeen in a place like Assam, where we either do huge adulation or we make fun of the person. And Zubeen received both. He would either receive this huge adulation from people, he is a god, etc., or people would make memes about his what he ate or what he was drinking. Right? I mean, unless Zubeen's drinking habits actively harm the society, why am I so much interested in his drinking? This is something I have often thought about. If Zubeen's what he ate and what he drank did not actively create any problems for us, or us listening to his music, or us generally being people from Assam, why so many memes about it? Why so many conversations about it? I would rather direct those conversations to discussing his work. And that's why I said discussing, not necessarily praising. So there could, how many good articles criticizing Zubeen's lyric or music? How many good articles praising Zubeen's, serious articles praising Zubeen's work? Or doing like a proper, what you call, Homalosona, criticism, right? Which means quote. So I think, yes, he suffered in how we responded to him being a star. And that's not only Zubeen, actually, that's how I think we really need a better culture of responding to big people's actions. And generally, as a team also, I really miss the idea of us responding seriously to occasions, whether it's a Himanta Biswa Sarma or a Zubeen or an actor or anybody or an art, or a painter doing their work. I think we need better culture of giving them feedback, better culture of responding to their work. And Zubeen did suffer because he didn't have that feedback coming in. And like you correctly said, he had this coterie of people who would say certain things to him, which did not necessarily represent how the world thought about his work, right? Or wanted him to work more for the society. So I think that was a problem, yes. Yeah.
This is the last topic I would like to touch. In the mid-90s, the Garg left for Mumbai. The song Ya Ali from the 2006 film Gangstar became one of the most beloved songs of that period. And it was held as Zubeen's breakthrough in the national mainstream. So did Ya Ali help mainstream India understand Assam, its musical tradition, its cultural complexity, and its people, and how this is?
I don't think so, because Ali was just another huge Bollywood hit. It never, kind of reflected on any of Assam's cultural or musical traditions. And in fact, when Zubeen passed away, also the first news item that had the headline was Ali singer passes away. Only when they saw the reaction of the people, suddenly the whole national media and all the famous YouTube journalists and podcasters became suddenly Zubeen. So it was all like they were also kind of engagement farming also. I'm sad to say some of the most well-known and well-meaning journalists and podcasters, very famous award-winning journalists, suddenly for them Zubeen and how great he was, how a great political visionary and how reactionary, they were all trying to fit him into their own kind of windows of politics, because otherwise first thing that came out, you go to the search of the net, see Ya Ali singer. Many people, Zubeen-JNUite was trending on social media because people thought it was Zubeen-JNUite, so they didn't even know Zubeen Garg. So I mean Zubeen's that Hindi film, whatever success he had, Ya Ali and Jaane Kya, Jaane Man Bawara, these were his biggest hits. And then of course Chris Tree and all that, some other films. So these were pure his Bollywood work. Whatever he composed in Bollywood, in Hindi films, those songs unfortunately didn't become very popular, but they actually had a lot of reflections about his own music and Assam's music, Assam's musical, folk traditions and all that. But unfortunately, those were not, they didn't become popular. No people listened to them, but in a limited way. But yes, Zubeen did give a damn about Bollywood, that we all know. He came back and he was also he has said it in one of his interviews that he would prefer to live like a king. So he said, I will live like a king in Assam, because in Bollywood you have to, like you are one of the singers. Here he has a whole established kingdom and people adore him like anything. Why should he go to, it's like there is no end to that place. Right? So he made a very conscious decision of coming back to Assam, and from Assam also he continued singing in the cinema. Right? He sang for Chris Tree from Guwahati only. So yes, but and also the Bengali industry, also most of the songs he sang when he was in Assam. And Bombay, I think personally he didn't like the lifestyle, or I think he has spoken about it in his interviews. But generally, Bollywood actually didn't, help Zubeen in any way in his creative pursuits, except for giving him a few hits and making him a bit well known. I mean, Ya Ali, everybody knows the song, hardly anybody knew the name of the singer till he died.
I have one thing. On stage, on a live performance, Zubeen, as I saw in the video, Zubeen told that he